Hello, welcome back to my channel, Mel Stampin' Gallery. I'm Melanie, and today I wanted to make a card using the Country Flowers Stamp and Die set from Stampin' Up in this beautiful wood-grained Country Woods DSP. Now you can find these beautiful products in our current Stampin' Up annual catalog that just came out the beginning of this month. And these products are part of this Country Woods Suite collection that you can see here on pages 48 and 49. I was inspired to use that collection last week in my video. I made this double page layout of a recent visit to Stan Hewitt Hall & Gardens, and I thought that stamp set was absolutely perfect to recreate those memories. All right, so I am going to clear this out of the way and bring in my Versamat and we can get started. The first thing I want to do is just start with my base, and for a base I just take a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock and just cut it in half so that it measures 8.5 by 5.5. All right, so then you just fold that in half, and then you end up with what they call the A2 card size, which is 4.25 by 5.5. So I'm going to use that for my base. Then the next thing I want to do is I'm going to take the embossing folder and just a piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to take that over to my Spellbinders Platinum and run that through and get the embossed image. So I adhered that embossed image down to the card front piece. Then I'm taking a couple pieces of DSP, and like I said, this one is from the Country Woods collection, and it's got this deep color on the one side and this beautiful gray, beigey gray on the other side, and that piece measures 1.5 by 5.5. And then I'm using this for a little strip, so I think I'll just take a little bit of, actually let's take a little bit of the liquid Tombow adhesive and use that on the edge, just so I'll be able to move that around and line that up better. And let's see, I just want a little bit of that DSP, that black pattern paper, and that black pattern paper is from my stash. It's an old, close to my heart, or excuse me, it's going to be a while before I get used to saying Stampin' Up again. It's part of an old Stampin' Up DSP set, but you could use any coordinating cardstock. This actually would be nice as well to use for that. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that there. But before I do, I kind of wanted to rough up the edges here. I'm just actually going to take a fingernail and just rough it up with my fingernail. You could use your scissors. I do have a distress tool, but I'm kind of too lazy to go find it right now. So for now, the fingernail will work. Just rough that up a little bit. Okay. All right, same thing. Let's take a little bit of our liquid glue and adhere that down again so that I can move that around and get that into the proper place. If I use my tape runner, it sticks right away and it doesn't give me that wiggle room. I'm gonna line that up on the fold. All right, like so. All right, then we have the base of our card. All right, now to make the focal point for our card, I want to take this like milk pail stamp from the Country Flowers set, and let's pull that off very carefully off the carrier sheet, and we'll put it on our block. And grab our Intense Black, and I'm using Intense Black because I'm going to use my Spectrum Noir Tri-Blend markers, and that's a good ink for that. All right, so we will just stamp and press and lift that up. You know what? I don't like that bottom part down there, so I'm going to try one more time and see how it goes. Make sure I get that bottom part. And you'll notice that I am stamping on my Stampin' Pierce mat to get a nice, gives me a nice cushion to stamp on. Yeah, that looks better. We will clean that off with our stamp chamois and put that back in the case. All right, let me set that aside. All right, now to color the pail, I'm going to start with, I'm using the brown gray blend, and I'm going to start with the dark. Excuse me. And I'm just going to go along the edges, and I just like to just make flicking motions. I don't like it to be too perfect looking as I'm coloring. All right, then next we will go with the mid. And we'll start in the same spot, but we'll bring that out just a little bit further. And then we will go to the light. When I'm doing the light, I like to cover the whole thing. All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish this coloring, and then I will be back. All right, next I've mounted the floral image on my clear block, and I want to stamp that as well, because I will be doing some coloring with that in the tri-blend markers. So let's see how we do on this one. Let's stamp. I always want to make sure I get that center push down. Okay, that looks pretty good. Then I'm going to use my markers to color that in, but I want to let that dry for a minute. And while that is drying, I want to get another piece of scratch paper. So I'll get some out of my stash here. Let's see, I guess this one's, here we go. So what I want to do with this is I want to stamp the saying. I want to make sure I have enough room because I'm going to use this stitch circle. This die is from an old set. I think it's called Stitched Shapes Framelits dies. And like I said, that is an old set from my stash. Okay, where's the saying? Here it is. So lucky to know you. So I'm going to stamp that. Again with my intense black ink. And if you are using Stampin' Up ink, you know you can use your Memento ink for these kinds of stamping. All right, so we're going to stamp with that. And lift up. And then I will take this over to my die cutting machine and cut that out. All right, so I got those colored with my tri-blend markers. Now the only thing left to do is take it over to my die cutting machine and cut them out. All the pieces are cut and stamped, so the only thing left to do is put it all together. So I'm going to take some of my liquid glue, and this is going to go on this stitch circle piece, maybe about like that. So I just put a little bit of glue on the circle there. Let's see if I can straighten that up a little bit. Okay, and then the flowers are going to come out of the can, the watering can, like so. So we just need a little bit of glue on the bottom there. Okay, kind of like that. All right, then this whole piece is going to get adhered with some foam tape. I do have some Stampin' Dimensionals on order. They just haven't come in yet, so I'm using this foam tape and my non-stick scissors to put the pop-ups on. Ow! Oops, I almost cut myself. Gotta be very careful with those scissors. All right, so then that's going to go like that. All right, and there you have it, a quick and easy card to send to someone special. Who would you send this card to? Let me know down in the comments. So I want to say thank you so much for joining me today as we made this card together. If you like it, don't forget to go ahead and give that a thumbs up, and be sure to check that description box down below for a list of supplies and links to my social media pages. So once again, thanks so much for joining me today. Until next time, bye-bye.